So today is World Teen Mental Wellness Day. So not just National Teen Mental Health, but actually like world, like the whole world is celebrating this today. So cool. So obviously we are entering our like our 13th month of doing this business where we're all alone. And so we want to like mention at the top that like if you're feeling not yourself, that's totally okay. That's normal. So if you're someone who's struggling, there are some things here that you should know. One, asking for help is a sign of strength, right? I love when people ask for help. Living a healthy lifestyle helps our brain, helps keep our brain on point. So, like sleeping and eating right. You have power. So, think about ways that you're awesome. There are lots of coping skills, things that we do in order to make ourselves feel better, like talking to our friends or listening to music. And then surround yourself with people who are healthy for you. So, maybe not just positive all the time, but like people who make you feel better. Um, yes, Chelsea, I absolutely can. Um, let let's think about we'll think about them together here in a second. Um, and yes, Brendan, you can. That's fine, Brandon. Okay, and then if you know someone who is struggling, here's how you can help them. One is you can seek to understand what they're going through, like help them just like stick around with them. You can reduce stigma by increasing awareness, right? So something that you can do is like the more we talk about it, the better off we will be because like that's the first step to getting help for people, right? So for me and my family, we didn't really talk about mental health very much growing up, right? It was just like expected that we were fine or that we would be okay. Um, and so when I told my family that I was going to go to therapy for the first time or I was going to meet with a therapist, they were like, "Why? Why? That's really different. Like, why would you do that?" And I was like, "Well, it's important for me and for my brain for the way that like how I'm feeling right now to see someone." Um, and that just like by having that conversation, it helped a lot of the people in my family to be like, "Oh, interesting. Like this isn't a bad thing. It's something that we can actually do for to make our brain better." So pretty cool. So we can reduce stigma that way. People who are struggling might need space, but you can let them know that you're there for them, right? And being consistent really helps. So if you tell them a couple times, or like every week rather than just once at the beginning, that could be a good way to support someone who's struggling. And then positive vibes are contagious. So not just like toxic positivity, right? Like you're positive all the time and nothing can phase you. But like being positive generally, or like helping when you're positive around someone, it can be helpful. So pretty cool. If you're someone who doesn't know what coping skill, like what kind of coping skills you have, right? You have your like breathing techniques, right? Those can help like in the moment if you're feeling really overwhelmed, if you're feeling like I get really hot when I get overwhelmed. So for me, I need to like take a breath and take a walk. Um, I'm asking this question too, like, what's your favorite way to take care of yourself? Right. So I'm thinking about like if I get like overwhelmed, I get hot, like I like start to overheat a little bit, or like maybe feel my forehead, and I'm like, whoa, I feel really hot. And when I notice that, it's really good for me to take a breath, right, and maybe take a walk. Right, taking a walk can help too. So for me, one of my favorite ways to take care of myself during this COVID time is taking long walks after work, right? I love you guys. You don't stress me out, but sometimes work can be stressful, right? Or like being in school can be stressful. So I take a long walk, try to take one like a few times a week, and that really helps me take care of myself. Another thing that might help you take care of yourself is listening to music, or like doing something along those lines. Derek, I saw you mic pop. Did you want to say something or is it an accident? I'm going to go with it was an accident. Welcome, Derek. Oh, no problem. So um, I want to make sure that everyone has some coping skills that they do. For me, deep breaths, I just literally will like close my eyes and take deep breaths until like I feel a little less hot. But other than that, I like to take walks. What are some ways that you take care of yourself? What are some things that you do in order to help you feel better? Throw them in the chat for some of us. Some of us are looking for coping skills. So, what do you do when you need to Take a break. Listen to music. They're going on a call with friends for sure. For sure. Friends can be super helpful. I always forget that one, but for sure that can be awesome. One that I am thinking about, oh, either taking a nap or making food for sure. Watching a show definitely can be helpful. One that I'm thinking of right now, sometimes when I like get really overwhelmed, I just like put a blanket over my head and I make it as dark as possible and I just like breathe until I feel better. So like going into a dark space helps me sometimes. Like blanket over my head or like the only place I can get really dark in my apartment is the bathroom because it doesn't have any windows. So sometimes I'll put myself in the bathroom. Yeah, for sure. So all of those things are good ones. Nice. Cool. Thanks you all for taking a moment to celebrate World Teen Mental Wellness Day. I hope that you are doing well. I did want to also plug if you're ever not feeling well, I'm here for you, and I am just a text or email away. Happy to FaceTime with you if that's helpful to you. If you want to just tell someone that you're not doing so hot, I get that. I get that. So let's jump in. Today we have a few announcements and then we have our notes and our assignment. And what's really awesome is that our notes from today are going to be really, really similar to Thursdays. So if on Thursday you were like, wait, what are we doing, right? Today is another chance to get that concept down. So I'm super pumped about that. So for announcements, it is week 8, y'all. Can you believe it? It is already week 8. I know for some of us, we're like, dang, how is it week 8 already? And some of us are like, wow, like this is the slowest quarter of my life. I hear you on both of those. So today we're going to do assignment 31. And then on Thursday, if you are all caught up, if you are done with 29 through 31, we're going to play a review game. And if you're not done, that's okay too. Then we're going to work in a small group in order to be able to submit all of your assignments from 29 to 31, just the triangles ones, right? So we're working on triangles. Cool. Any questions about the rest of this quarter? We have week 8, week 9, week 10, and 11. So we have the rest of this week and then 3 more weeks. We're almost halfway done with this week too. Cool. Okay. Keep sending me those questions if you have them. And then I wanted to do some celebrations. I am super pumped with how hard you all are working. And I just wanted to shout out some humans. If you're in this green section here, that means you turned in that assignment and I'm so appreciative of you. And that is awesome, especially for those of us who were not doing so hot in semester 1. Many of you guys are doing really great in semester 2. So really appreciate that. Also wanted to shout out my weekend warriors, people who worked in and turned things in over the weekend. Cameron and Emily, amazing job. Appreciate you working on the weekend. And super want to highlight Mia Q. Yes, that's you, Mia. Mia Q, Gracia, and Jesus are all caught up on all 3 of these assignments. So I am super pumped about that. Congratulations. Proud of you. If your name is down here, I am still looking for your assignments. It's not too late. Someone did point out to me but miss, you already put in a grade for me, right? And that is true. When you do part of an assignment, I put in a low grade for you, right? You don't get a 0 because you did some of it, but you haven't turned it all in, right? So sometimes I put in a partial grade for you. It will still say that it is it will still say that you get that little U, right? That little U on your grade means that you have not completely finished it. It's unfinished, but you did get some points. Does that make sense? So even if you don't turn something in sometimes, I will still give you points. If you did the checkpoint, I can see that on my side. If you did some of the decimals, I can see that on my side. If you did IXL, some part of IXL, I can see that on my side, right? So just because I graded something does not mean that you can't still turn it in. So 28, 29, and 30, those are all still open for you. Okay, so if you find your name down here, that way, I just want you to know you can still turn it in. Okay. Shout out one more time, snaps to my green humans. Thank you for turning in these assignments. Appreciate you. You are doing the most and I love it. Cool. Are there any questions about how to turn things in or whatnot? You can always just send, if you find a piece of paper and you're like, oh, this has math in it, and you want to just snap a picture real fast and email it or text it to me, then I can tell you what it is and if you got points for it. So if you have any math just like laying around, we can make that happen. Cool. Okay, team. We are done with our announcements. We're gonna jump into our notes now, right? So make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen or a marker, whatever you're using. And I'm going to switch over my share while also sending a poll to you. Are you ready to take notes? Tell me in the poll. Are you ready to take notes? Oh, my poll was not updating there for a second. I thought no one was responding, but I see you now. Okay, it looks like 6 of us right now are ready to go. 1 needs a minute. Take that minute. 1 needs 2 to 3 minutes. Take it. Do it up. Grab that quick thing. If you have yours and you're ready, go ahead and make a title. Remember, you only need to write down the things that are in green. You don't need to write down this. In fact, you're not going to write down any of this part. Don't write. Don't write any of these boxes. Not this one, 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 not this one. I'm going to demonstrate for you. You don't need to write it down. All right. Take that 1 minute. To the 3 of you who haven't voted yet, vote for me, please. I've only got 8 votes. I need 11. Ah, there we go. 9th vote. I'm looking for 2 more votes. Who's out there that hasn't voted yet? All right. Guess we got to move on without you. Here we go. All right. So help me out. I would love to hear some chats, as well as if you want to come off mute. I'm a big fan of that. You all know I love to give out merits. All right. How do I solve for x? Right? How would I get x by itself in this problem right here? Well, what do I do? Let's start off easy. I see +2. How do I get rid of +2? Subtract. Yes. Amazing. Look at 4 of you. Great job. Subtract 2. I'm going to subtract that 2 on both sides. It's going to leave me x equals 7. Cool. I think we're feeling good. Does anyone remember from this one here, if I have the square root of x, how do I get rid of a square root? What's the opposite of a square root? A power. Yeah, we square it. Yes. Great job, team. Square root and square cancel. That's going to leave me with x equals 81. 81 for sure. Welcome back, Lauren. Thanks for popping back. Sorry about your Wi-Fi. All right, now, so we know these things. We do the opposite, right? The plus, we do minus. We see square root, we do square. The opposite of sine, if I want to get x by itself here, remember you're not writing this down. If I want to get sine away, I use the opposite of sine, which is sine inverse, right? Notice it's like sine with like a little -1 up here. It kind of looks like an exponent. It's not an exponent, but it looks like one, right? And what I do on one side, I have to do on the other, like that. So sine -1 and sine, these are going to cancel like this. And that's going to leave me with just this little x coming out, right? And in my calculator, what I'm going to type is sine -1, 14 divided by 15 like that. So I'm going to show you on my calculator. You don't need to do it on yours yet. We will do it together. I'm going to show you on my calculator. Uh-oh, give it a second for this lag to catch up. There we go. So I'm going to clear out of this. I'm going to type here. So if I go to functions right here, I see sine, cosine, tangent, how I've been using them on the other ones. This time I'm going to use sine -1. Right? So I'm going to press sine -1, sine inverse, and then 14 divided by 15, right? And it gives me 69.96. I'm gonna press this tool button up here, make sure that I'm in degrees, which I am, so that's good. So I get 68.96. It's gonna round up, right? The 6 is gonna round up. So it's gonna be 69.0, right? 69.0. I had 68.96. The 6, though, is gonna round up and make that a 10. So then I have to push it over here to 69. That's how I get 69.0. Okay. So we're just using the opposite in order to get rid of sign here, right? So quick, remind me, if I see this right here, what would I use to get rid of sign in this problem? What would I get rid of? How would I get rid of sign in this problem? Yes, good job on the chat. Sign -1. Yeah, for sure. Good job, yeah. So then I have to do over here on this side as well, sign -1 there. Okay, that's, I'm getting rid of the opposite, and that's going to leave me with just x like this. And then I do this part in my calculator. Okay. How do you think that I get rid of cosine? How do you think I get rid of cosine? Just take a guess. Yeah, cosine inverse, cosine -1. So if I have this, I'm going to get rid of it using cosine -1 on both sides. Like that. What about tangent? What about tangent? How could we get rid of tangent? Yeah, tangent -1. Right? So if we see these in our math problem, we can get rid of tangent by using tangent inverse. That leaves me with just x equals, and then that part I can do on my calculator. Okay. So, okay, now we're going to start writing things down. So grab your pencil. Grab your pencil. We're going to start writing things down. Go ahead and write down, first to start, write down this triangle right here. If you're using the notes online, that's great. Write down that triangle right there. A quick sketch, nothing else necessary. All right, so you might notice these steps are exactly the same as last time. The steps are exactly the same, right? So we are, this time, it's gonna ask us, what is the missing angle, right? The missing angle right here. They wanna know an angle this time. So my unknown is theta. Remember, I'm gonna put like a 0 with a line through it. That's theta. That's my unknown. And what two numbers did they give me? What two numbers did they give me? 27 and 11. Yes, 27 and 11. Right. If I'm going to label this, here's my angle, and I go straight across. Is 11 O, H, or A? Is 11 O, H, or A? It is O. 11 is O. Because we want to go from the angle straight across. That's my opposite. Yes, Chewy, good job. This is my O. And then 27, is that my O, my H, or my A? It can't be my O. Is it H or A? Yeah, it's H. It's across from the 90 degrees and the longest side. So 27 is my H. So since I have O and H, which of these, sine, cosine, or tangent, includes O and H in it? Sine, yeah, this one right here. This one has O and H, and it has S to start. That stands for sine. So I'm going to write my equation with sine. And then normally this is a degree, right? An angle, right? So I'm going to put theta there. I don't know what it is. That's like my X. It's the thing I'm looking for. Sine. And then sine, remember, is O over H. O over H. So I'm going to put O up here and H down here. What is my O? What number is my O? Yeah, 11. Yeah, 11. And then H, what number is my H? I look at my graph or look at my picture. H is 27. Put 27 here. So I have O on top, H on bottom. All right. So now we're going to use that brand new thing that we learned. Sine theta equals 11 over 27. I'm just rewriting it. How do I get rid of sine? If I want to get theta by itself, how do I get rid of sine? What's the opposite of sine? The inverse operation. Sine -1. Good job. Sine -1. So I get theta equals, and then how do I do this part? How am I going to do sine -1 of 11 over 27? Where do I put this? Yeah, Desmos, my calculator. So I'm going to go to sine inverse 11 divided by 27. 11, use this for my divide. 24.04. And around, the 4 does not round up, so I'm just going to have 24.0. 24.0. We do want to make sure the calculator is in degrees, so I'm going to click this little tool up here. I see that my calculator is in degrees. Good catch, Mia. Thank you. And I get 24.0. What is this, like 24 elephants, 24 meters, 24 birds? Like what are we measuring? We're measuring an angle. What's like the unit? Yeah, degrees. Good job, Chewy. Good job, Mia. Degrees. I'm going to put that degree sign up there. And this is my answer. Okay, looking back, I want you to tell me, did you get stuck on this first part with the labeling? Did you get stuck on choosing? Did you get stuck on the equation writing? Or did you get stuck on the solving? Or did you make it all the way to the end? Right, so A, B, C, or D. Where did you get stuck? Did you get stuck on A? Did you get stuck on B? Did you get stuck on C? Did you get stuck on D? Or did you make it all the way to the end? I'd love to answer any questions that you have. If you want to put them in the chat, that'd be awesome. If you are ready to move on, feel free to put a Y in the chat. Put a Y in the chat if you're still with me. Thank you. Pop that Y in the chat if you're still with me. I know 7 of you are. Thanks, Gracia. Thanks, Julie. All right. Let's go ahead and move to number 2. Number 2, we're going to try again. So remember, you're going to draw this triangle here. Go ahead and take a moment to draw it. All right. Can someone help me label this triangle? Help me label this triangle. I know my unknown is theta. What are the 2 numbers they give me? 7.7 for sure. Jesus is already telling me, True is already telling me that it is opposite. 7.7 is my opposite. And 14 is my adjacent. Yes, 14 is my adjacent. One thing I might notice here, I have my opposite, 7.7. And then my right angle is showing me that over here is my hypotenuse. And the leftover one is my adjacent. Right? Leftover is my adjacent. So I have O is 7.7 and 14 is A, but my H doesn't really matter. I don't need my H, right? I don't need that there, right? So my H is gone. I have O and A. Which of these am I going to use? Am I going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? Sine, cosine, or yes, I've got 2 correct chats. I'm going to use tangent. I'm going to use tangent because it includes O and A. Includes O and A. Hi, Sam. Glad you're joining us. We're just in the middle of notes, so feel free to pop in. All right, so tangent of theta. I don't know what theta is, right? I don't know what theta is, but I do know what my opposite and my adjacent are. So opposite's going to go up here, adjacent's down here. They're in order. This one's on top, that one's on bottom. What is my opposite? What number am I going to put here? $7.7 for sure. And what number on bottom? Yes, 14. Good job. Thank you for those chats. All right, if I have this as my equation, let's make sure everybody should have this part written down. Anything in green should be written on your paper. All right, if I have tangent theta equals 7.7 over 14, what should I use to get rid of tangent? How can I get theta by itself? Yes, Mia already knew what I was going to ask. Tangent -1. Tangent inverse. Tangent inverse tangent. Going to cancel and leave me with just theta equals, put this part in my calculator. I'm going to go here, functions, and then tangent inverse. I'm going to put 7.7 divided by 14. So I get 28.8. 28.8 what? What's my unit here? 28.8 degrees, yes. 28.8 degrees. Make sure you have this part written in your notes all the way down to my answer here. So all of step 4. Do I have to round the final answer? Yes, in the final answer, so not anywhere throughout the problem, but in the final answer, normally the problem will tell you, but today we're using 1 decimal place, tenths. We're using tenths. So yeah, we're gonna round. We don't wanna write all those numbers out. So we're using tenths places. Great question. Tenths is spelled like this. Tenths equals 1 decimal. Good question though. Usually with degrees, we use tenths too, just as a general rule. Cool. Okay, I want to know one more time. I want to know where, if anywhere, you got stuck. Did you get stuck on A? Did you get stuck on B? Did you get stuck on C? Did you get stuck on D? Or did you make it all the way to the end, not get stuck? I'm going to relaunch this. How are you feeling about this? Where, if anywhere, did you get stuck? Did you get stuck on A, B, C, or D, or E? For sure. If you got stuck on A, I would love to know your question. Basically, we're just labeling it, right? So our labeling process is the same all the way from assignment 29. So we have our theta, and we go straight across, that's our opposite. We go to the 90 degrees straight across, that's our hypotenuse. And the leftover one, the last one, is the adjacent. Adjacent means next to, like my next door neighbor is my adjacent neighbor. They live adjacent to me. So if you're getting stuck on this part, we can refer back to assignment 29. For part D, I would say the hardest thing is just using like the opposite of tangent. So I just copied this pink equation down again, and then tangent -1. Tangent inverse is how I get rid of tangent, and that pops out just the angle, and we get 7. We do the tangent inverse of this, we should get 28.8. If your calculator is not working, please let me know. We can troubleshoot it. Cool. All right, let's do one more. I'm gonna have you, are we ready to try on our own? You wanna try this problem on your own? Check it out, see if you can do it. Let's go ahead and take a moment. If you're feeling confident, go ahead and try this problem on your own and tell me when you're done. If you're not feeling confident, I want you to try it and tell me when you get stuck. Tell me when you get stuck. Go ahead and let me know if you are done or if you are stuck. All right, let's check out here. We have our angle here, right? My angle here. So straight across, this is my opposite over here. I have my 90 degrees straight across. It's my hypotenuse. The leftover one, or the one next to the angle, adjacent, next door neighbor, is A. So I have A is 26. H is 45. And O, not helpful to me. So I'm just going to cross it out. I don't need it. All right. If I have A and H, which of these am I going to use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Yes, Mia. I know Mia's got it. Good job, Francis. Good job, Ezra. Absolutely, we're going to use cosine. Cosine. We use this one here. Cosine. So I'm going to put COS in my equation. Theta. Yes, the unknown is our theta. Just so that it might sound funny. This is how we spell it. Theta. Theta. It's a Greek letter. Greek letter. No problem. Someone asked me that question earlier and I had no idea what they were talking about. And I just realized what happened. Theta. So cosine theta, and then what's the fraction? What over what is going to be here? What's the fraction? 26 over 45, yeah. A over H, 26 over 45. All right, so if I have cosine theta equals 26 over 45, how do I get rid of the cosine? Cosine -1, yep. Just like that. So cancel, cancel, leaves me with theta equals, all right, type into your calculator. If you need a calculator, desmos.com/calculator. Whoops, just sent that to one individual. Should have sent that to everyone. https://desmos.com/calculator. Click on that, baby. It should take you straight to the graphing calculator. Type it in. I want to know what your answer is. What is your answer? Elder told me an awesome answer. Chewy got me on an awesome answer. I've got cosine -1, cosine inverse. Double check that your calculator is in degrees. So click up here, click that little tool in the top. Make sure it's not on radians, make sure it's in degrees. And then we're going to type 26 divided by 45. We get 54.7 degrees. If you can't make your calculator say that, it's going to be really hard to do your assignment. So let's go ahead and check those calculators. So please do try it on your own. Make sure that you have this green part written in your notes. Yes, good job. Good job, Mia. Why do we use the -1? Yeah, good question. So just like +2, there's a -2 to get rid of it. We do the opposite. Or just like if we had ×2, we would do divide by 2, right? Those are opposites. Or like if we had square root and square, those are opposites. The cosine and the cosine -1, the cosine inverse, these are opposites. They're opposites, so they get rid of each other. So that's why in this case, we were trying to get rid of cosine to get theta by itself, right? Then we would use cosine -1. Amazing question, David. Mia, you can use 54.71 if you want, or just 54.7. On your homework today, all the answers are only going to have one decimal place. David, we are using it to cancel out cosine, yeah. So if we have cosine theta equals a decimal, some number, right? And we want to get just cosine by itself, then the way that we have to do it in order to get rid of cosine is we have to put cosine -1. And that means they cancel out like that. It's exactly the same as up here when we were canceling out the 2's. When we were canceling out these 2's here, we were like, think we were crossing them out like this, right? And then we put it on the other side like that. Yeah, good job. Good question. Okay, my friends. Wow, this lag is brutal today. Okay, I want to just highlight something for you because I know everybody's trying to turn in their work and get it done fast. You are already done with the notes. This is already 25% done, right? The next quickest thing to do is the checkpoint form. There are only 3, maybe 4 questions on it. I think 3 questions. There are only 3 questions on it, and it's worth 10 points, just as much as the notes, right? So I'm seeing a lot of you all like trying the IXL and then not doing the checkpoint. That is silly because you actually get the most points, most bang for your buck is coming from the checkpoint form, right? So if you did the checkpoint form and the assignment, you would, or the notes that we just took together, you'd already be at a 70, right? So you want to take this and the checkpoint form. Then the last 30% comes from one of these 2 options, right? One of these 2. You'll notice in the options, there are 2 ways that you can get help. One way that you can get help is question 1, 2, and 6. They have videos on them. 1, 2, and 6 have videos. And then if you want help on the IXL, there is an IXL help there. They're also, all of the videos are linked on Canvas if you want to jump into Canvas as well. Okay. Before you leave, don't leave. Assignment 31. Let me grab this link for you so you don't want to leave without it. Assignment 31. Let me pop this link to you. 2 seconds. There we go. All right, here is the link straight to the assignment. You don't even have to go to Canvas yet. Here is your assignment. That's your assignment for today. There are either you can paper problems or the IXL. If you like IXL better, either one works for me. Okay. Do you have any questions before we head out? Any questions? Nope. Okay, I hope that we're feeling a little bit better about this now that we've seen it a couple times. I'm going to go ahead and open up some breakout rooms. They will be available to you if you would like to head in there to work with Stephanie. You are welcome to. Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday. I hope you all have a great afternoon. Thanks, y'all. So head into that breakout room if you'd like some help, or you can go ahead and log off. We're all done for today. Thanks, friends. Bye, Chelsea. Steph, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think someone's in your room, actually. Bye, David.